I remember I had a teacher my online year, and from day one, you guys, she goes, everyone turn on your cameras now. And I'm just like, ooh.
She not talking to me like,
who are you? But
oh, we knew life would be alright, but who could have known it'd be this good? Oh Lord.
welcome. Let me turn on the lights for y'all. We're back. Okay. So, as you guys know, I've done a lot of videos on like things I wish I would have known in college and like preparing for college, things I wish I would have known about the college application, but I'm looking forward to making a couple videos for you guys about things I wish I would have known in high school and just honestly like things that helped me a lot in high school. So today's video is going to be about all the things that really helped me get the grades that I wanted to get in high school and the habits that made me a good student, the habits that made me a high achieving student, and basically how to set yourself up for success in high school, period. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about some habits of a good student. Like, what makes a student a good student? What do you mean, good student? You know what I mean? So one habit that I've basically used like in every school setting I've ever been in, probably like since elementary school or something like that, and that I still use right now, is email your teachers. Day one, you are given your teacher's email somehow, either through, I don't know, obviously in college they have syllabuses and that has your teacher's email on them. In high school it's the same thing. They have syllabuses that has your teacher's email on them. Don't be afraid to email your teachers. I don't care if you can't find a link for the homework, email your teachers. If you need an extension on an assignment, please email your teachers. You'd be surprised. Like, honestly, guys, due dates are really just like the teacher being like, hey, I need to grade this. So like, if you get it in by this date, then I'll be able to grade it and send it back by this date. And then we'll be able to keep moving on and keep teaching. If you need like an extra hour or another day, usually it's literally not that big of a deal, but you'll never know if you don't email your teachers. If you don't know how to do the homework, email your teacher. Can't open a link on an assignment, it's not letting you, or it's not giving you access, email your teacher. If you have a lot going on and something happens with your family, email your teacher. If you're not sure what the teacher is expecting of you, email your teacher. If you don't think you're going to get a certain grade and you're wondering if the teacher rounds up or something like that, email your teacher. Moral of the story is, please email your teachers. There's multiple reasons why this is beneficial. One, your teacher will get to know you. And maybe we should go over how to email teachers, because you don't want your teacher to get to know you as that student who sends crazy emails. Not to scare you away, but definitely in your email, don't be like, hi, broski, you think I could get another day phone number? Like, just don't do that, okay? So maybe we could go over how to write an email, but moral of the story is, don't be afraid to email your teachers, because one, it helps them get to know you. This student is really interested in my class. They're always emailing me. They're always asking me questions, so I know this student. Two, it gets you more comfortable talking to authority or like people in professional settings, because you're going to have to be doing this for the rest of your life. If you have a question in college, if you have a question in grad school, if you have you're going to have to always speak up for yourself. So if you can practice emailing your teachers from a young age, then it gets you more confident in professional settings. Three, recommendation letters, because the teacher already knows you and you're always communicating with the teacher. It'll be easy for them to give you recommendation letters and stuff like that. Four, you just don't get left behind, because the teacher remembers you, and you're also speaking up for yourself, so you won't get left behind. It's way different. Y'all, my voice today might not just be a good talking day for me, so bear with me, but we still got to spread this knowledge, so bear with me. You won't get left behind if you're speaking up for yourself. There's a difference between some students just being like, I have so much going on, so forget school, I'm not gonna even try. And someone being like, I have so much going on, so I need to reach out to my teacher so that we can work together. Guys, it's literally their job to teach and to make sure that the students can receive the teaching and succeed in school. So just work with your teacher. Don't ignore them. They're people, and so they actually want to know what's going on with your life or with you. Like if you're late to turn in an assignment or something like that, you'll be surprised how many things can be avoided if you just email your teacher. Let's go over a sample email. Dear Mr. or Mrs. If they're married, make sure you MRS whatever dot their last name, comma, enter next thing. Sorry to bother you. You could add that, you could maybe not add that, but I've had a lot of work on my plate. Is there any way I can get maybe a 24-hour extension on this one assignment? Or sorry to bother you, but I'm struggling to understand what is required for this assignment. Is there any resource that can point me to or help me understand the content that you want us to understand, that you want us to submit for this assignment? Stuff like that. Cool. We can go over that again we can go over that in another video if you guys want more help with that. Cool. Second habit of a good student, we'll just say to-do list. To-do list. If you're still keeping everything up here, what are you doing? Actually, stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
And here's why, right? Because I don't remember why I started making to-do lists, but sometimes you're like, okay, I don't really need to make a to-do list. I don't have all that stuff to do. I don't have that many things to do. When you keep things in your brain, what is it called? I forgot, the front, left side, right part of your brain. I don't even know, child. But when you keep things in your brain, you're actually putting a burden on your brain to remember that information. You have all this different information that and all these ideas too. Don't just write down your homework, write down your ideas. Just basically to-do lists and agendas are really, really helpful. You take the burden off of your brain. So it's not constantly being like, what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? What do I have to do? What should I remember? Someone told me this an hour ago. Someone told me this 4 hours ago. The teacher, especially in high school when you have so many different classes, how are you going to remember that? So one really good habit to do, please start doing this as soon as possible, but is to get a to-do list, write stuff down. Teenagers are literally so busy. In addition to homework, right? You also have chores. So when you go home, you have to sweep the floor, wash the dishes, and then also you have I don't know, maybe you want to go out and have fun, and you really, really had a great idea that you wanted to go horseback riding or something, but you literally can't remember it. Just write it down, write it all down. I personally didn't really like the agenda thing. I was more of a to-do list girly where I just had what I had to do by the date I had to do it by, in parentheses. But some people like agendas, where it has a calendar and it shows you every single thing that is due. That can also work because you don't have to buy a book. You don't have to buy some fancy planner, some fancy agenda. Literally, if you have an index card, split that junk in half. Write today's date, write what you have to do on one side, fold it, and when you're done, open the other side, write today's date, write what you have to do. I did that for a long time, but the busier you get, the more that you have. This always scares me, guys. The busier you get, the more you have to do. So you can't always just use an index card. You could use the back of the index card. That works too. But yeah. Another beautiful thing with to-do lists just in general is, like I said, you can write down your ideas. So I have 16 to-do lists. I think I use Google Task right now. Google Task is just so clean and easy to use. So I have 16 to-do lists. One of them literally goes when I'm leaving the dorm. If you're a little all over the place like me, and sometimes you can really leave in a rush, you might forget your keys, your wallet. So I have a list for what I need to bring when I'm leaving my dorm. I have a list for when I have free time, what should I do? What do I like to do? And then on that list, I'll be there was that book that I really liked that I forgot. And so when I have free time, I'll go to that list and I'll be scrolling and I'll be oh my gosh, I did want to read that book. So I'll read the book. Now my brain is free, you guys. My brain does not have to hold all this information, and it makes life so much easier. Before Google Tasks, they was writing stuff down, so write stuff down if that's better for you. It really is like a life-changing thing. Like, definitely don't put everything in your brain. Use Google Tasks, use Google Calendar. We can make a video on how to set that up so that it's perfect for your like academic style or whatever, or your academic workload. But yeah, definitely get an agenda, a to-do list, write stuff down, stop keeping it all in your brain, or else you're gonna achieve literally maybe 20% of all that you could possibly be achieving, okay? Period. Like, imagine if God told Moses, keep all these commandments in your brain, right? Do you think we would still have the same commandments? They would not be the exact same, y'all. Someone somewhere along the line would have forgot a word or two, and Moses or God wrote them down. Write stuff down.
What?
Okay, now on to the tips. One thing that I used to always implement, I think starting like in middle school, was leave school when you leave school. What does that mean? This is something that worked for me, so this is number one. Because I just started to realize we spend literally 8 hours in school. I think I was in like middle school, and I was just like, man, we spend 8 hours in school, and then I still have to do homework, which is more hours out of school. Something not right. So I was like, this cannot be right. Like, there has to be some way for me to not literally spend 90% of my day doing doing school and then going home and doing homework, so I'm still doing school. So basically, I told myself, I was like, if I could just actually lock in for the 8 or so, 7-ish hours that I'm in school, I feel like I might have no homework to do. Or I'll have way less homework to do. So when I say leave school when you leave school, when you're in school, be in school. When you're out of school, you're done with school. Like, make sure you're done with school. And so how does this look like? In school, once your teacher gives you that homework, start that junk. During lunch, do that junk. During, if a teacher's just going on and you already know what they're talking about, don't do this all the time, but do that junk. Do your homework, do like the extra quiz that they added, do the, during lunchtime, do your homework, guys. And I know it's like, oh, but during lunch is when I get to relax, and during lunch is when I get to talk to my friends. You talk to your friends during class 24/7 anyways, so you'll see them again. But also after school is when you should relax, not during lunch. You should eat, yes, but after school, you should be able to relax and be done with school. It's kind of like during school, during lunch, you're just eating and talking with your friends. But then after that, after school's over, then you have like an hour and something left homework to do. So it's either going home and spending an hour on your homework, or those 50 minutes during lunch, tell your brain it's crunch time and just finish your homework during those 50 minutes. It's way easier. Ugh, sorry, y'all, my eyes. Yeah, or during those 50 minutes, telling your brain it's crunch time, let's finish this homework. It's way easier when you know there's a bell that starts your time and a bell that ends your time, and you can just be like, I need to lock in during this 50 minutes, instead of when you're home and it takes you way longer because now you have however much time you want, you know what I mean? So there's many different ways that this can look like. Maybe you have a class that's super easy and a class that's super hard, so you schedule the harder class in the morning. This is a tip that worked for me. You scheduled the harder class in the morning so that after that class, you're given your homework, and you spend the rest of the time during those easy classes trying to knock out the homework little by little. Even if you just read the homework during the other classes, or even if you get like 2 to 3 problems done in the easier classes, you still will be way better off than if you didn't do that than if you waited to do all of it until home. So basically what I mean is that when you're in school, go hard, 2 times everything. Like, make sure that in those 8 hours, or try to make sure that in those 8 hours you finish everything possible, so that after school you can relax and actually do what you're supposed to do, which is have fun and live your life, period. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about talking to other students. This is me calling out all of you introverts, all of the people who go to school and put their head down and they're just like, I can't stand these kids, which is real. High schoolers are weird, but don't be an island. Don't be completely alone. Don't force it. That's weird. But don't I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. Don't make it a point to be alone or be just get to know your community. And I say this for many, many reasons. One, the battle of school is 2 times harder if you're doing it alone. And this is not what it sounds like. I'm not saying cheat or anything. What I'm saying is that, hey, did we have homework last week? Hey, I was sick yesterday. What homework did we have? What did the teacher say that we had to catch up on? Who are you gonna text if you don't talk to nobody? And like I said, don't force it. But this is just one example of why, getting to know the students and collaborating is important, because the battle is twice as hard if you do it alone, for real. So you have students, just your peers. And then another thing is that, which is something I realized in college or whatever, but another thing is that you go to high school with people who live in the same neighborhood as you. So even when you grow up and you go to college, even if you go to community college, so you're still in your area, you're gonna be around these people all the time. You don't know if these people are gonna be helping you fill out jobs, or just helping you with a new opportunity, or helping you cover your rent if you can't. I don't know. It's just really important to get to know the people in your community, and this is something you learn as you get older. I feel like a lot of college students say this, making friends in college is so hard, whatever. Very true. Not college, but adult life and stuff like that. That has some truth to it. But also just when it comes to things like school, 90, in my opinion, we'll say 85% of the benefit of school is meeting people. Literally, you go to school and yes, you're supposed to learn, but life is about the people you meet, and life is about the experiences that you have, and people make experiences. So you might not think this is an important tip or whatever, but I'm telling you, have community in your high school. Have community with people. Try to get to know people. Join clubs and maybe sports and stuff like that. And get good friends. Try to get good friends. High schoolers are still figuring themselves out, so it can be hard because everyone's trying to be something they're not. It's weird, but try to get to know people, then you'll be able to have someone to reach out to when you're sick and you need someone to let you know what homework is due, or you have a project that's due and you need to collaborate with other students. It's also going to help you get better at collaborating. There's so many overlaps to all these things that you don't realize until you get older. But yeah, talk to other students, get a group of people who actually care about you. That's really easier said than done. But yeah, because it's important to not just go through school alone. Then you defeat 85% of the purpose of school, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about another tip. Learn your learning style. This sometimes can sound made up, but everyone knows that not everyone learns in the same way, which is why school and the way it's taught sometimes is just so not smart, because everyone is forced to learn the same way and does the same homework and stuff like that. So it's really beneficial to know the way that you learn, because if you're able to know the way that you learn, know what works for you and what doesn't work for you, you can take what you're being taught and turn it into your own way of teaching, and that way you'll actually return it, and most of the time you'll retain it in less time. So here are some questions to ask yourself if you're trying to understand what I mean by learning style. Are you disciplined enough to do homework at home? Do you work good under pressure, or are you someone who needs to have everything done beforehand and will literally like crumble under stress or pressure? Are you able to are you able to understand things by someone saying it to you, someone writing it down for you and you reading it, or you actually having to do it hands-on? So these are just some things that everyone's probably going to answer a little differently, and that's a major key to figuring out what works for you and learning faster. Imagine we spend like 8 hours, guys, learning the same thing that the class before us learned and learning the same thing that the class before us learned. It's crazy. But like, if it's important information to know, that's cool. But now let's figure out how we can learn it faster, right? So if you know that you're someone who can listen and understand, or like can understand from someone just lecturing, record your teachers talking, and then when you're going back to study, you can play that recording back and your teacher will be teaching you all over again. That's just another tip. That's a tip for anyone really, but most importantly for people who are good like by hearing people talk. If you know that you are good by hearing people read, if you know that you are good by hearing people write it out for you and you like reading it back, then make sure you're taking good notes in class. And that could be another video, because taking good notes is honestly not something they teach you for some reason, and really important. So make sure you're taking good notes in class so that when you go home, you can read back over the notes or search up notes like from previous people who have learned the same thing and look at their notes and see if it makes sense to you. If you know you're someone who's good by doing it hands-on, which is me, there's a couple of things you can do, but I guess one thing is look up someone who's like going through examples on YouTube. So if it's like math, look up someone, is it the organic chem teacher, something like that? If you watch his videos, he'll be doing examples for you. So you get to see someone doing it hands-on and you do the examples with them. You do the examples with the YouTube video, whoever you're watching, and doing examples will be your way of like understanding and like learning faster. So that's just a little dive into learning styles, but it's very important to learn your learning style so that you're not just like, I don't know if you guys could hear this whole time, but my heater is running. I wonder if it's a big difference if it's not. Wow, it is much quieter. That's crazy. Oop. But yeah, learning styles is a good way to just feel like you're in control kind of your education, and you're not just like at the mercy of whatever 1990 textbook they used in the past. And 2, it's a good way to learn things faster and actually like cater to your personal style of learning. Okay, this is the last one, you guys, and then I'll just do some rapid tips after that I could go into later perhaps. But the last thing I have is to learn your teachers. What do I mean by this? This is very important, you guys. Some teachers are crazy, and so you have to peep that and dip. Like, there's no other way for me to explain this or to like say this, but if you know that you're someone who's going to need a lot of extensions maybe, or you're someone who needs a teacher to be like understanding and give you extensions when you need it, once you know that a teacher is just not going to do that or is gonna be a problem, you write that email to whatever principal or assistant principal or something and ask to switch out of the class. There's no other way for me to tell you this. You'll thank me later, but teachers, the older you get, the more control teachers have over their classes, right? That's why in college you have 3 weeks to drop a class. If you don't like it, if you don't like the teacher, you don't have to say the reason why, but you can just drop the class. In high school, that's not the case, but there are situations where you can ask to switch into another class. You can say, the teacher is really giving me anxiety or like is affecting my mental health, or if you don't even want to snitch on the teacher, then you can just be like, could I please leave for like reasons XYZ and stuff like that. But one of the most important lessons I learned is that if you and the teacher don't get along, you and the grade are not going to get along. You're not going to like the grade. You're not going to get the grade that you want. You're not going to get the grade that perhaps you worked for, because teachers, obviously, they are people. So if they don't like you or somehow are too harsh, or maybe they're even too laid back and they're not grading your stuff on time, switch out of the class. Go away. Run. This is like, if there's anything you take from this video, just don't sit in a class with a teacher that you know is just not going to work. I remember I had a teacher, my online year, this is not a story time, but my online year, and from day one, you guys, she goes, everyone turn on your cameras now. And I'm just like, oop.
She not talking to me, like,
Who are you? But, we don't disrespect teachers around here. We don't do that. But when I peeped that, oh, she's gonna be like that. Because I had other teachers that were like, I don't know where you guys are, if your situation's not allowing you to turn your camera on, stuff like that. Then turn your camera on if you'd like to, and things like that. But nope, this teacher was like, turn your cameras on now. It's gonna be part of your grading, stuff like that. And I knew she was crazy, but for some reason I was just like, there's nothing I can do, whatever. And the truth is, sometimes there really isn't anything you can do. So if you have a crazy teacher, or if you have a teacher that's like not really doing good, if you know that your teacher grades 3 weeks after you turn it in, if you know that this teacher hates people being late and you're gonna be late for some reason or another, if you know that this teacher, like little things like that, just do what you can. Keep it in your mind. This teacher is crazy. This teacher is not for me. So I have to either work harder or find somebody to get out of the class. If you can't find somebody to get out of the class, then unfortunately work harder. But in this case, I just didn't try. And from day one, you guys, obviously I peeped that she's a little, but I didn't do anything. And I'm telling you guys, that teacher literally gave me one of my only B's on my transcript, and I literally spent maybe 80% of the time I spent doing homework was on her class, and I still got a low B. So, and I remember her showing us, like, it was mid-quarter, so it was like mid-semester or something, so it was already too late, and she showed us, and she was like, a lot of you guys aren't writing this essay as I would like you to. So she showed us an example of an essay, and she goes, this essay is just beautiful, it's perfect. And then she goes, so this essay got an 84, and I'm like, what? You just said it was beautiful and perfect. So yeah, guys, you're gonna have some teachers that just won't give you a high score, just don't believe in it, believe in students must cry and grow gray hairs if they really about it. You don't have to be really about it, okay? So yeah, there's some teachers that like to see students cry, and so you have to leave. You have to leave because you don't deserve to cry. You don't have to cry. You shouldn't have to cry to do good in a high school class. So we're not going to name drop the class or the teacher, period. Okay, that is all for this video. Oh, rapid tips. Okay, some rapid tips are read. What do you mean? If you have the option to watch the movie about something or read the same thing, please read it. There's so many websites that have done studies on what reading does for your brain, whatever, but y'all need to read. It really helps. You'll learn new words. You'll learn how to imagine and use your brain, because they're not showing you, like, when you're watching a TV show, your brain's imagination is limited because that TV show is showing you everything that the stories could be about. It's showing you what the story's about. But when you're reading, it's telling you what the story's about. So you're able to use your imagination, which is very powerful, to imagine things, and you'll get stronger. You'll be faster at reading. You have to read more as you grow older. You'll be faster at reading. You'll be able to use your brain in more imaginative ways. The benefits are endless, you guys. Read. What else? Learn to take notes in your own style. Don't just write down everything the teacher says. Don't just highlight everything that's on that you're given to read. Learn what works for you. Please don't just like listen to what other people do. Like if you look over and this girl has Notion. I love Notion. That's another tip. Use Notion if you're interested in like organizing your life. Notion's great. Google Task is great. Google Calendar is great. Let me get back though, because I'm skipping around. If you look over at someone's using Notion, if you're looking over at someone's using a writing and pencil, you're looking over at someone's using their iPad, do what works for you and try them out. Don't be afraid to like try it out and be like, oof, this didn't get me a good grade. Try this out. Oof, this didn't do well for me. Try them all out. Figure out what works for you. Last but not least, when you're doing your homework, turn off your notifications. I'm making a video about how I set my phone up for success. It's not like super specific, but there's certain things on your phone that can really just distract you. Obviously, you guys know there's also certain things on your phone that can really help you. So yeah, when you're doing your homework and when you actually have to lock in, put your phone away. Don't listen to music. You know you can't do music while doing homework. You know you can't do it, so stop lying to yourself. Maybe let your parents know I gotta do work for the next hour, so I can't answer the phone. Something like that. But yeah, you'll be surprised how much time you save when you actually just focus for like 30 minutes instead of listening to music and doing homework for an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, that's it for you guys. That's it for right now. I am so happy that you're on my channel, you guys. I love you guys so much. And I look forward to your comments. I look forward to getting to know you guys more. Remember that your worth is not in your school. I did not get into Stanford because I'm smart. I'm smart, and that's why I got into Stanford. Big difference. And so just know that with or without an A on your paper, with or without this prestigious school, you still are smart. You still are intelligent, you know, you're still worth it. Okay? I'll see you guys later.